We're going. Do you know in the year 2011, America produced about 250 million tons of waste? Did you also know that 32 million tons of that is plastic? That calculates up to 4.5 pounds of plastic waste each person in the whole world wastes per day. Now, I know the first word that popped in my head when I first saw that statistic in the EPA website, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the word was recycle. We all have heard of recycling and the several benefits it has for not only you, but for the world. We all want to live in a clean environment. Obviously, to do that, we all need to do our job to maintain it, and one of the easiest ways is to recycle. Now, I know at some point in our lives, we all have seen those school presentations or those community projects that promoted recycling. You know, the ones that they wanted you to go out there and make a difference for the world and for your different lifestyles. I remember when I was in middle school, they had this little strategy to have teams compete with each other to see who can recycle the most, and the winner would get an end of the year party. It was a great strategy, getting people to recycle and getting people to care about the earth. But yet here I am still years later talking to you guys about recycling and how much we need to do more of it. Since people have started recycling decades ago, there has been a significant amount of improvement and an increased awareness towards what recycling can do. However, humanity is not doing enough to guarantee themselves a safe future. Today I will be going over the main problem that needs to be solutionized in order to protect the only earth that we have. Our future generations depend on us to help them get to a place where they are able to live free and enjoy the wonders of the world that is provided to them. If we allow such waste as mountains of landfills to have the best over us, we will not be able to give them that future. Claudia Deutsch from New York Times did some research on plastic recycling and figured out that only 5% of 24.2 million tons of plastic that was generated that year, or in the years, was reclaimed. So only 95% was unreclaimed. Now that calculation is kind of significant because it just tells you that people are just throwing out so much garbage and they're not recycling at all. People are adding so much landfill to the plastic waste, and instead of they're not recycling their bottles, they're not reusing their items, they're just throwing everything without a thought. People need to have a realization that all the items that they throw is an increasing risk of endangering the lives of animals, plants, and land. The landfill is something that needs to be maintained and controlled in order to preserve the land and water. There needs to be a significant change in the lifestyle of people in America, and there needs to be more glimmer of hope for our planet Earth. Now, why fix something that isn't broken? Recycling is the absolute solution towards this situation, but the problem is that not enough people are doing their job. Everyone already knows how healthy and beneficial recycling is. There was an experiment conducted where there was a negative and positive remarks done in their neighborhood. This article did a little experiment. They encouraged some people to recycle, and then towards other neighbors, they told them they gave them negative impacts of what happens when they're not recycling. And it turns out that it was concluded that those who received positively framed messages about recycling were more fixated on recycling more than those who were given a negative remark. What I want to see and what I hope for every environmental organization hopes to see in the near future is obviously people getting to recycle first, but foremost, the thing is to get the word out about recycling, get the word out to your friends, your neighbors, and your family, and how much recycling can do for us and our future, that it will help give a clean air and water to our future generations to come. And all this can start right now, today, you know. Even places such as zoos are already going green, as indicated by Amy Novotny, who wrote an article about the Palm Beach Zoo that took several steps into maintaining a green system. She indicates that the zoo has installation of wind-powered turbines throughout the zoo that will further reduce energy consumption. In return, they will consume less energy than they ever had before. Another example goes back to my former job as a grocery cashier. I rang up a lady who came into with her own grocery bags made of these little things right here, Capri Suns, you know, plastics. I know there was a little trend back then where people, instead of throwing these away, they reused them and they created their own grocery bags with them. and she managed to like have like 7 bags of these, you know, and that was like what, like I know you buy these in packets, so they come in like 8 or 12, like that. Though we, I mean, though we can't consider the fact that there are other consumers out there who already bought reusable bags that are provided in the grocery stores and are using them all. I can tell you from experience from working there that there are far more people who use the plastic and paper bags that are provided there instead of buying the reusable bags or making their own from anything. It doesn't have to just be Capri Suns. It would be most beneficial if people were to reuse their waste and make it into something that could be used for another time or could be used on the daily. Amy Novotny had a list in one of her other journals. One of the 4 steps for action was for people to become a resource for sustainability, meaning to have people be sufficient towards other people and towards the items they encounter every day and what they decide to throw out. If people are more aware of how much an impact they would have towards an environment, they would become more caring about what they throw out and what can still be used. The media and organizations need to have a much more effective force towards promoting recycling so that people can be more persuaded to save our Earth. If this works out perfectly, the future of the planet has a fighting chance to stay fresh and full of life. If the world continues to keep at this pace, it will fall into a colorless phase where it would be much more difficult to live in, and for both animals and for people. Our children won't be able to do as they can freely as we can do right now, because their world will probably be full of pollution and waste and landfills. Then sooner or later we would be asking ourselves, what could we have done differently? The question's very simple. You know, I've been repeating it this whole time, and I'm sure that you've all heard of it. Reduce, reuse, recycle. I provided you with all the facts of how harmful excessive wasting can be to the earth and what can be done to prevent a disastrous future. And this all starts with you guys. You know, you guys can make the difference to the world. It all starts with you. Only you can make the difference everyone hopes to see, and it can be easily initiated by recycling today. Thank you.